who is going to go first here in game number 1 of our final round of Swiss at YCS Houston.
All right, big number? Yeah.
All right, looks like the dice are about to be rolled. Looks like that is a 10 for Jesus. Followed up by a 9 from Joshua, just short.
I'll go first. And then we just put them out here first? Or we just start now? You can start now. Okay. Again.
All right, go ahead, man. All right, hands are drawn. Jesus will be taking first.
I think my chocolate.
Nope.
All right.
All right, going through their faces properly here.
Looks like he's going to start with the FIENDSMITH Tract.
Normally, I would say the Rescue Ace is very protected from effects similar to Droll and Lockbird, but I think every time you start with FIENDSMITH Tract, it can get a little dicey.
Yep, going to add the Fabled Lure, discard the Fabled Lure.
Change roll.
Oh, Droll and Lockbird.
Called it.
At least he didn't start with Engraver.
Yeah, it could have been worse. It could have
been much worse. He could be stuck with that Tract in the hand, but at least he'll still be able to special summon this Fabled Lure. Like, if you start with the Tract, the Droll's not as impactful. And a card that's notoriously not super strong against Rescue Ace.
Yeah, normally it would be pretty useless against Rescue Ace. But now, if you didn't have to take the lead with any Rescue Ace cards, I'm wondering how difficult it will be to find access to him.
Otherwise, you can register online at events.thesidedeck.com.
All right, so the Requiem is going to tribute off the field special summon Lacrima the Crimson Tears. Lacrima the Crimson Tears is going to let him send a FIENDSMITH Engraver from the deck to the graveyard.
Or later. We would be happy to help you guys over at the Public Event stage if you have any questions.
Looks like we're going to be using the Engraver effect to put back the Fabled Lure here. There's a response. There is a Bestial Magnamut on the Engraver.
Oh, that's not just a Bestial, it's the Bestial here. Going to try and cut off having that Engraver access, so it's going to prevent him from having a rank 6 or a link 2.
He's opting to not activate the Magnamut because of the Droll Lockbird, even though he could technically use the Magnamut here because it can add from the graveyard as well. If a dragon happens to hit the graveyard throughout the turn, you still can resolve it. And it looks like he did have Turbulence, or no, he had Emergency, the best card. You're able to just summon the Turbulence from the deck, and then you have to tribute a Rescue Ace from your field or hand, and we're going to be getting rid of that Airlifter. It's going to be useless with, through the Droll and Lockbird.
Yep, normally a good one. But now it is going to have the Turbulence on the field. So he's going to be able to grab 4 Rescue Ace spell and trap cards.
Normally, this takes up a lot of the spell and trap card zones. But he is taking up 1 from the Requiem. But will he have 4 targets in the deck? Yep, that's 4. Emergency, I think that's Alert or Rescue, and then Extinguish and Contain.
All right. Turbulence is pretty much one of the big reasons to play Rescue Ace, because you're able to access so many cards with just 1 card.
Yeah, we talk about how powerful an individual card resolving is, and Turbulence has to be on the top of the line. Not often you see a +4 instantly.
Yeah, definitely. Does so much. Now we're going to see the Contact Fusion with Lacrima the Crimson Tears basically turning into that Necroquip Princess.
If any effects from the hand are activated from this point on, we could get an additional draw here, but it looks like we're just going to be linking away into the SP Little Knight using the Necroquip because it's a monster from the extra deck. SP Little Knight gets its additional effect to banish the Bestial Magnamut on the field. We're resetting a 5th Spell and Trap here, locking up all of those back row. The deck's going to be cut, and it looks like it's going to be a pass turn here from Jesus. Not the craziest field, but when you're looking at 5 spells and traps, it can be a lot to deal with.
Yep, SP Little Knight is solid. Now he's going to use Rescue to rescue a Rescue Ace monster from the graveyard.
Rescue's going to be summoning back Airlifter here.
Droll and Lockbird no longer holding him back from adding cards from the deck to the hands. The Airlifter will be activating, but it looks like there's a response from Joshua. He has the Infinite Impermanence.
Will this just be met with SP Little Knight to try to tag them both out? Or he could just chain Emergency here. That's probably the better use. Yeah, we're going to be chaining Emergency, likely getting access to the Hydrant to turn on the additional effects of the rest of your Rescue Ace cards, while also effectively removing the Airlifter from the field.
It is quite the way to dodge infinite impermanence.
This is really impactful here. Now having 3 cards taken out of Joshua's hand, the Magnum effectively null because of his own Droll and Lockbird. And the Airlifter will be able to resolve now because no longer on the field, be negated by the infinite impermanence. Going to be adding the Rescue Ace HQ to get even more follow-up on the following turn.
Yeah, Rescue Ace HQ has always been one of the staying powers for Rescue Ace, being able to replenish those spells and traps because you can set so many of them with Turbulence. It's going to be great for follow-up. But it looks like Joshua's seen enough. He's not going to be able to put off the flames, and Rescue Ace saves the day once again. And now Jesus is just 1 win away from... well, there's still some tiebreakers. Maybe some XQs won't make it, but putting himself in the best position he can to make top 32.
I feel like he also managed to not reveal what his strategy is, Joshua, of course, being. He showed a Bestial, a Droll Lockbird, and an Impermanence. You could find those cards pretty much in anything.
Yeah, those are pretty generic cards that any deck would like to use, so it would be tough for Jesus here to side deck.
To go ahead, and we're going to start game number 2 here of the last round of the Swiss for YCS Houston.
It's time to duel. Will Jesus be able to close it out and clinch his spot in the top 32 potentially, or will Joshua push things to a game number 3? All right, starting off FIENDSMITH Engraver.
Again, really doesn't tell anything about your deck.
Except that the FIENDSMITH cards are in it.
All right, no Droll and Lockbird here from Jesus. We see Tract able to activate and resolve here. They're likely going to be activating that Fabled Lure that we've seen time again. There is Fabled Lure added to hand and then discarded by the effect of Tract, and then able to trigger its effect in the graveyard, special summon itself.
We've
Linking
seen
it away.
Time and time again. The classic FIENDSMITH combo.
Requiem effect activates. Will there be an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring here? Or no, it's actually a Mulcharmy Fualos.
That's even better almost because you're going to get the drop, but he's called by the grave.
A lot of answers here,
Oh, that's tough. You feel good when you see the Mulcharmy in your opening hand, but met by called by the grave from Joshua. It's his turn to go first in this game.
I wonder how many responses he has from this point on. If he's able to set up the Wave King High Caesar and then normal summon something along the lines of Malice Dormouse or even Malice White Rabbit, I think Jesus might just want to pack up his cards as soon as he can.
I mean, yeah, once he sees the Malice, if he has the Malice cards on top of all the FIENDSMITH stuff, it should be pretty crazy.
When you're already 1 card down, it's pretty much impossible to beat. All right, looks like we're going for sequence here. Trying to bait another interruption out of Jesus. Are we activating FIENDSMITH? It looks like it is resolving. Going to be able to put 3 back to fusion summon FIENDSMITH Desiree.
There it is. Now do you go into Agman Day? Probably not with Malice. I feel like there's not a lot of room for Agman Day in there, but here comes the Chessy Cat to reveal he is actually playing Malice cards.
And this is perfect because now you have a Link 2 on the field, so it means you can immediately go for a Link 3, but it looks like we're actually activating Chessy here, so we have another extender in the hand.
Yeah, I got you.
This can be a little weak to something along the lines of Nibiru the Primal Being, but I imagine you did have ways to extend, and we are banishing the Dormouse here, so we get maximum value. Dormouse hits the field after paying 300 life points. Looks like we're activating Dormouse as well. Going to get access to White Rabbit, and once White Rabbit is able to resolve and getting access to GWC, everything is going to be looking pretty for Joshua.
Yep.
You have GWC 06 being set off the effect of White Rabbit. No interruptions from Jesus beyond the Fualos.
Links away the sequence and the Chessy Cat for, I'd imagine, a Link 3 Malice monster. It's going to be Red Ransom.
Red Ransom makes a lot of sense here. You already have access to everything else you need. You might as well just get the additional extender in the Malice and Underground. I think for good measure, I would already activate the sequence now just to make sure the Desiree is live. There could be an infinite permanence down the line, but I guess at this point, it would have happened so many times by now.
We're going to link away his monsters, going to SP Little Knight, banish the Red Ransom from the graveyard, so Red Ransom will special summon back to the field.
And I will not banish.
Yeah, opting to not banish another card from the deck here. Mainly
No
because,
Dotscaper.
Yeah, there's no Dotscaper. You still have Malice in Underground if you want to banish Chessie, which is the only name you haven't used yet.
All right, now he's going to link away those monsters to link summon Malice White Binder.
On summon,
He's going to be able to banish 3 cards from either player's graveyard on summon. He's going to banish his own Chessie Cat.
Makes sense, getting that last name here, keeping the Malice in Underground in hand just as follow-up. And you get another body on the field.
Pay 300 life points, special summon back to Chessie Cat.
GWC, banish for cost.
Okay, we're already activating GWC to bring back the Red Ransom and being able to gain 2300. Now the White Binder will be able to activate, draw a card, and summon itself back.
Yeah. And then White Binder to come back and draw a card. Yeah.
Looks like everything is going A-okay.
It's got a lot of monsters on the field.
I suppose there is a good amount of time left. I think Jesus just wants to see what else is in Joshua's extra deck, because I can't imagine he's able to break this.
The White Binder lets him reset a trap card from the graveyard, so the GWC06 is going to be right back to where it was. Links away Malice White Rabbit.
To link decoder, I imagine. Yep, there's the decoder. I'm going to be linking away that, plus the White Binder, as well as the other Malice name.
Make Cryptor.
Into a Link 3 Encryptor. Decoder is able to now come back.
Yeah, link decoder.
23 or higher.
23 or higher.
23 or higher.
So Jesus is checking.
Yeah. And now you can just link again into what I imagine is just Firewall Dragon? Oh.
It's just Moon. Now
that works as well, because it makes a bow, because it is a fiend.
There you go. The perfect materials for a Bow Q. I love a Bow Q from Supreme Darkness. You can be able to discard a card to banish yourself to the end phase, spell summon back a lighter dark monster.
Yep, gonna go ahead and just get use out of that free Malice Underground that we searched earlier, and get back the SP Little Knight that we used earlier in the turn as well. And then finally we are able to use Sequence to attach yourself to the Desiree.
Comes back in the end phase, right?
Yeah.
And then a Bow Q will be coming back during the end phase.
I love a Bow Q. It's one of my favorite cards.
And I'll move to end phase.
Back comes a Bow Q. It also has the other effect to discard. Not only can you spell summon back a lighter dark, you can also choose to destroy a card on the field.
Yeah, very flexible card.
Yeah. Yep.
And it banishes itself to the end phase, and it lets you draw cards and put cards back. And
I keep saying that effect sounds good, but if you've made it that far, the game's far over. Like,
I mean, with Malice, you always have so many different types. It's like usually like at least 4 cards.
Yeah.
Because you got Fiends, Cybers, Dragons sometimes. But yeah, as you said, Jesus just wanted to see where it was going and what his deck was capable of, so he'll be able to better plan for game number 3, and Jesus is ready to move to that third and final game.
Yep, plenty of time still on the clock here. Just got as much information as he could from Josh's strategy, mainly because he didn't get to have any from game number 1. And now he can make a plan going into game number 3.
Can't go wrong with that. Like even on your turn, like it's full combo even if it doesn't do anything.
All right, Joshua evening out the series. No matter what, this is going to be the final game of our Swiss round 11. One of these two players will be putting themselves in a prime position to make top 32 to move into the single elimination portion of the YCS.
Unless they somehow magically draw and eliminate both themselves.
Hey, I've seen it plenty of times before. I've seen it in the last round of the World Championship even. 2 players playing tier and just happened to draw, couldn't get the game finished, and neither of them made it. So it's definitely happened. You want to keep that in mind, but we have plenty of time on the clock, so I'd be shocked if these 2 players drew after those 2 quick games.
Both the players have been playing at like a very mindful pace, right? They're just going through their moves, not necessarily at like a fast pace, but they're not going slow either, and they're being mindful of like what they need to do. They're not staying in the game longer than they have to.
Yeah. Now, Rescue Ace is an unexpected strategy for sure, but I do think there are some cards that are in people's side decks that will cross over and be useful against the deck. I think because of all the, I mean, even decks like Ryzeal and Malice, Harvey's Feather Dust or Lightning Storm, not bad cards to put in against those decks going second, as they're going to have cards that maybe they're siding in going first, like Solemn Strike and stuff like that, that you can take out with the Mass Spell and Trap removal. So there's going to be some cards in Joshua's side deck probably that will line up decently well into Rescue Ace.
Yeah, I think especially with what you mentioned being the popularity of Solemn Strike, which is a huge counter into a lot of these other decks because they don't naturally have ways to deal with others' sets that they can't force out. So Solemn Strike has been a huge force in locking down games where players are able to go first. So people have been forced to have backward removal, as you mentioned, just to account for those cards being sided in, and those will work fantastically against Rescue Ace.
Definitely. We'll have to see if this duel is going to get a little turbulent, though, here from Jesus. I mean, that Rescue Ace Turbulence is just a crazy card. The first time I read it, I was like, this is unreal. Like, being able to set 4 spell and trap cards from your deck.
Yeah, surely they make it difficult to summon, right?
Nope. Even it, in fact, got easier to summon as more cards came out for Rescues. As we saw, just Emergency can throw that monster out there so quickly.
I mean, Rescue Ace was definitely one of the strongest decks at some point during its release, especially with access to the Sinful Spoils engine. There was a lot of cards going for it. Hydrant is a very powerful card on its own, being able to amass resources every single turn and also giving those bonus effects to the rest of your cards.
Definitely. I mean, even like if another card leaves the field, destroy one of your opponent's card effect is kind of tough to navigate sometimes.
Yeah, like a lot of these Rescue Ace cards have like that like slight bonus effect that you don't really think about, like the hidden ability, if you will.
Secret effect. Secret effect. Some cards have a secret effect, but not really a secret effect, but ones that don't come up as often as their main effects do, so you always got to look out for it.
Yeah, it's not the one that's usually beating you, so you don't really pay attention to it.
But this is it. We're at the YCS Houston, round number 11, game 3. Only one of these duelists will move on. The other will unfortunately be have to go to the side events, public events.
You know, they tried, yeah.
There's a lot of, I mean, I'm that same way. I try every tournament, but if I lose the second I'm out of the main event, I'm running over to the public events and trying to enter and win just a different tournament. But one of these duelists is ready to win. Let's see who is going first. Did he let Josh go first? No, he is starting things off. The way Josh was looking at his hand, I thought maybe he was the one who's going to lead things off. But
I mean, this is bold, using Infinite Impermanence on a Rescue Ace normal summon. But is there a Chain Emergency? It doesn't look like it.
So the Impermanence is going to negate Rescue Ace Airlifter. Does Jesus have any other way to access more Rescue Ace cards? He does have FIENDSMITH Tract again.
That's pretty good. It's able to just get access to another engine here. I don't think there's going to be a response to the Tract. Makes a lot of sense.
Yep, so he's going to add a copy of Fabled Lure to the hand, then has to send a card from his hand to the graveyard. He's going to send the Fabled Lure, special summon back. Thanks to its own effect.
I mean, I'm just peeking at Joshua's hand. It seems like it potentially might be a hard counter to the way Jesus has been playing so far. Lurie has hit the field, which usually means we're going to be immediately linking it away into that FIENDSMITH Requiem. We'll see if that is what Jesus chooses to do. It looks like that is what's going to happen here. On the Link summon, we're going to be activating Fantastical Dragon Phantasme.
Is Jesus going to chain the Requiem?
Then Phantasme just becomes draw card.
Yeah, it just becomes draw a card. But it's one less card he gets to see.
Yeah, you don't get to like put cards back. You don't get to see as many cards. And the Malice does have the problem where you don't see Malice monsters sometimes. So being able to fix your hand here is very powerful. Jesus is considering if he wants to make sure that he sees the least amount of cards.
I think I'd rather have them draw one as opposed to draw two and put one back. I think just
like some people like the feeling of like, oh, they put a card back, you know, that's worse somehow. But like, no, they do see more cards.
Odds are one card in their hand is not as useful. Ooh, Ash Blossom.
Seeing zero cards is also better. Yeah,
it's going to keep the Phantasme in the hand.
That's fine. Ash is able to resolve, and now Requiem's going to activate, and I think that is going to be met with an Ash Blossom of Joshua's own. There it is.
Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring going to make sure that Jesus cannot summon a FIENDSMITH monster from his deck. So this is two parts of his strategy cut off thanks to Infinite Permanence and Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring.
Normally Ash is something you want to hold for something along the lines of Emergency, but we know that's not there because Airlifter was negated by Infinite Permanence. And now it looks like the turn will be over for Jesus, and Joshua will be able to have a chance here.
There's no water in this hydrant, and now Josh is going to draw for turn.
Is there a Malice monster?
And he still has the Phantasme in his hand if things go right, like for Jesus. Like even if nothing bad happens on this turn, he already knows Josh has that Phantasme waiting to try and summon. But he's going to start off with a Ball Drake.
It's not the ideal start here. It looks like a sign of weakness for Joshua.
Yeah, it definitely means I would instantly be able to read he doesn't have a Malice monster in his hand.
So it seems like he made the right call stopping the Phantasme. And yep, that is it. It's just going to be a Ball Drake attacking into the Airlifter. Jesus still has plenty of chances here. He's going to get another turn. We're going to be normal summoning Droll and Lockbird. Just linking those two away. This is rough. We're going to be going in to Moon of the Closed Heaven, going to be linking away into FIENDSMITH Requiem. Requiem's able to activate. Is there another Ash Blossom from Jesus? Doesn't seem like it. We're going to be able to summon out Lacrima from the deck. Lacrima is going to be able to activate, sending FIENDSMITH Engraver.
This is what Jesus was trying to do, but Josh is going uninterrupted.
I mean, this is the benefit of having those FIENDSMITH cards in your deck, right? Any two monsters is able to put up a reasonable threat.
Yeah, Droll and Lockbird and BYSTIAL Baldrake, not two cards that really work together, but with Moon, they find a way.
There is still a mystery set from Jesus here. Could be anything. Has not had a real opportune moment to use something along the lines of Infinite Impermanence just yet.
I'll go Engraver to put back this middle.
The Engraver is going to be able to put back the Moon of the Closed Heaven to special summon itself from the graveyard, and now it looks like we're going to be linking those two away into, I imagine, the FIENDSMITH sequence. Oh, it looks like just an IP Masquerena. That's surprising.
I'll pass.
And we're just passing back. I think that signs of another Bestial in hand.
Or the Phantasme.
Yeah, I mean, if you're counting on it, like...
Yeah, but Jesus knows it's there. He's not going to let him summon it. He's going to try and... Is there another copy of Airlifter? That would be the best thing for Jesus right now. Would you make the read that there's another copy of Droll and Lockbird in Joshua's hand since he was so willing to normal summon that the first time?
I mean, I think Droll and Lockbird is just a card that's so weak against Rescue Ace anyway that you don't necessarily have to... And especially like when you're going into the middle of the game, right?
Right.
Droll and Lockbird is a card... I mean, it could have been pretty useful now, but Rescue Ace Airlifter hitting the field once again. If that card's able to resolve, that can get you access to everything.
Yeah, this is huge. He'll be able to get the emergency. There's access to Turbulence. He's going to be able to deal with the IP Masquerena, all while not having to let Josh summon that Phantasme from the hand.
I mean, now you're just playing a really grindy situation, right? You just want to make sure your opponent has the least amount of options available. You don't necessarily need to win the game outright. You just need to make sure you're playing and your opponent is not.
Yeah, that second copy of Airlifter coming down is huge for Jesus.
We'll see if there is another copy of Droll and Lockbird. I mean, he cuts off his own Phantasme. I doubt he would even want to.
I mean, in a grind game like this, I would favor the Rescue Ace monster as long as they're able to keep the steady flow of Rescue Ace monsters. He's contemplating. He's like, should I go to battle phase? Will Jesus forget the Phantasme in Joshua's hand? I would hope not at this stage in the tournament.
I really doubt anyone would forget in this position.
All right, so he's going to go ahead and activate emergency before going into the battle phase. Let's see if Joshua has any sort of response. He doesn't.
Chain Forbidden Droplet.
Interesting.
Just to make sure the IP Masquerena is checked here, there's no way to really get value out of it now because there are no other monsters for him to link with at this point in the turn.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is playing around there being like another BYSTIAL in hand on top of the Phantasme. As you mentioned, he could be...
Yeah, I think it is pretty understandable that there would be a Bestial. I feel like you wouldn't rely on IP Masquerena with only a Phantasme in your hand.
Right.
You had plenty of other options to make in that situation. You could have just made Sequence. Like,
true. Or SP Little Knight or just anything, yeah. But the emergency is going to summon the Hydrant. Hydrant is going to be able to add a Rescue Ace monster from the deck to the hand.
Likely going to be Turbulence here, especially if you have the read on your opponent's hand being a Bestial and Phantasme. You are free to get as much advantage as you can, and with Hydrant on the field, you are able to activate one of those sets off Turbulence the turn that it's set. And we're going to be activating Lacrima now. Oh, that's, of course, Lacrima also makes IP Revive.
True, true. So he'll always be able to have that extra monster on the field. But he has the Ash Blossom.
Their Ash Blossom was found here. It had to have been drawn. No, it could have been drawn for turn, right?
It could have.
Because he couldn't do
it.
Yeah, it had to have been, right?
He would have. He had the second Airlifter already.
Yeah.
So that was a huge top deck here from Jesus.
Yep, and now Turbulence is activating in the hand to banish from the graveyard the Airlifter. Oh, both Airlifters, it seems.
Airlifters.
And Turbulence will be hitting the field. And will it be able to activate? It does. There should not be a response at this point. We're going to be setting, I imagine, Alert, Rescue, Extinguish, and Contain. Yep. The 4 classics.
I spelled race. I spelled race.
He did the thing. His opponent's not having it. He's not in the mood.
This is the... That's insane that he pointed it out to his opponent like that, too. He's like trying to have fun while his opponent's like, this is the worst game of my life. Oh, no. He was not happy with that, but that's okay. Turbulence is going to set the force field and traps. Yeah, just resolving a Turbulence is still great here in 2025.
I think a +4 is good at any point. If the +4 is not good anymore, I don't want to be here.
All right, so since the Rescue Ace Hydrant is on the field, they'll be able to activate, looks like Alert, the turn is set, so he's going to be able to add any Rescue Ace monster from the deck to hand. He's going to add Preventer.
Very strong, extremely strong in this matchup, I'd say.
He just has to make sure he doesn't forget that the Phantasmate is in Joshua's hand while he is going through the motions here.
I mean, yeah, I think just summoning Preventer, going into the battle phase, and then having it live on your opponent's turn to immediately answer a drawn Malice monster should be able to seal the deal here.
But there's so much more you can do if you link away that Preventer, though.
I think
it's tempting.
He's been playing pretty tight up to this point. I think he understands what he's doing here.
The temptation is there.
54,
I mean, he also has access to Extinguish and Contain. He has all. Like,
yeah, he doesn't need to link summon at all. But think of all the things you can do. The Preventer is going to summon back a monster. You're going to get like an SP Little Knight.
I feel like Rescue Ace is one of those decks very similar to Fire King, where it's able to do so much with just very little investment.
Definitely. And yeah, he isn't going to go into the extra deck. Just going to pass turn. We know at least one card in Joshua's hand's not going to do anything. It's a fantastical card, but not in this situation. And yeah, he has nothing. Two Phantasmates.
Ash
Blossom. And Jesus is going to take it with his Rescue Ace strategy, moving